It seems like everyone talks about how busy they are in retirement, doesn't it? You hear things like, oh, I'm busier now than I ever was when I was working, or there just aren't enough hours in the day. And on the surface, it sounds wonderful. Right, retirement is supposed to be this golden time filled with activity, travel, hobbies, seeing friends and family. The image we often see is of someone constantly on the go, ticking things off a list, finally having the time to do it all. But what if that picture isn't the whole story? What if, for many people, this relentless pursuit of busyness isn't just tiring, but is actually having a deeper, more negative impact than we realize? It's almost like there's a secret truth hiding in plain sight that constantly needing to fill every moment might not be the key to a happy, healthy retirement, but could actually be working against you, slowly, subtly, in ways you might not even notice. In this video, we're going to look at the surprising reasons why being too busy after retirement might not be serving you well, explore what it might be costing you, and talk about a different way to approach this chapter of your life. Stick with me, because we're going to uncover some things that might just change how you think about your days. And make sure you watch all the way to the end, because I promise there's something coming that will truly surprise you. Let's really dive into this idea of busyness in retirement. You know, for decades, our lives were structured around work, appointments, deadlines, getting kids to school or activities. There was a rhythm, often dictated by external demands. When retirement hits, that external structure vanishes. Suddenly, you have all this time, and there can be a real pressure, both internal and external, to fill it. You hear about other retirees traveling the world, taking multiple classes, volunteering 5 days a week, perfecting a craft, joining every club imaginable. And you think, okay, I have to do that too. I have to make the most of this time. I can't just sit around. So, the calendar starts filling up. First, it's exciting. A trip here, a new hobby there, lunch with friends, maybe helping with the grandkids. But then, you say yes to more things. That committee needs a volunteer. A friend wants you to join a new group. The neighbor needs a hand. And before you know it, your days are packed, just like they were when you were working. Sometimes even more so because now you feel like you should be enjoying all of it. But here's where the subtle danger creeps in. Think about your body. Even if you're feeling energetic, constant activity, even enjoyable activity, takes a physical toll. Running from one thing to the next leaves less time for spontaneous rest, for listening to your body when it says, I'm tired, or my knee is aching today. You might push through that fatigue because you don't want to miss something, or because you feel obligated, or simply because there's something else scheduled right after this. This isn't like the structured demands of work where you might have had weekends or evenings strictly off. Retirement busyness can bleed into every day, every hour. It can lead to neglecting those simple, foundational things your body needs. Maybe you rush meals instead of eating mindfully. You cut your sleep short because you have an early commitment. You skip that gentle walk because you're too busy getting ready for the next event. Over time, this can manifest as persistent fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to fix, increased aches and pains that you brush off as just getting older, or even a weakened immune system because your body isn't getting the recovery time it needs. It's not the activities themselves that are the problem. It's the lack of downtime and the pressure to always be doing that wears you down. Your body still needs periods of rest and recuperation, perhaps even more so now than when you were younger. Constantly pushing, it can accelerate wear and tear, make you more susceptible to illness, and just plain make you feel run down when you're supposed to be enjoying life. It's like always running your car engine at high speed without ever stopping for maintenance or just letting it cool down. Eventually, something is going to give. Recognizing that rest isn't laziness, but a vital component of health, is the first step. It's about consciously scheduling in periods with nothing planned, allowing yourself the freedom to decide in the moment what your body and mind truly need, rather than adhering to a packed itinerary. And it's not just the physical side. That constant state of being on the go or having your mind occupied with the next thing on the schedule also impacts your mental and emotional well-being. Think about it. When are you supposed to process things? When do you have time to just be with your thoughts, to reflect on your experiences, or simply to allow your mind to wander? If your days are a blur of activities, appointments, and social engagements, your brain is constantly stimulated, constantly reacting. While engaging activities are important and can keep your mind sharp, there's a crucial difference between engaging your mind in a focused activity and bombarding it with a never-ending stream of inputs and obligations. This constant stimulation without adequate downtime can lead to a different kind of fatigue, mental exhaustion. You might find yourself feeling overwhelmed, irritable, or even anxious, not because anything is necessarily wrong, but because your mental processing capacity is overloaded. It's like having too many tabs open on your computer. Eventually, it slows down and might even crash. This mental clutter can make it harder to focus, harder to make decisions, and can even interfere with your ability to truly enjoy the activities you're doing because you're already thinking about the next one. It leaves little room for boredom, which, believe it or not, can actually be a good thing. Boredom can be the birthplace of creativity, reflection, and a deeper understanding of yourself and your desires. When you're always busy, you might be using the activity as a way to avoid introspection or dealing with uncomfortable feelings that can arise when things slow down. But avoiding these moments means missing out on opportunities for personal growth and genuine peace of mind. It's about finding a balance where you engage with the world, but also have space to connect with your inner self. Scheduling in quiet time, even if it's just 15 or 30 minutes a day to sit without distractions, to meditate, to journal, or simply to stare out the window, can be incredibly restorative for your mental state. This isn't wasted time. It's essential maintenance for your brain and your spirit. It allows you to clear your head, process your experiences, and approach your activities with more presence and energy. Without this deliberate space for quiet, the constant hum of busyness can become a low-grade stressor that erodes your sense of peace and contributes to feelings of being drained, not fulfilled. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle when we talk about a healthy, happy retirement. Moving on from the physical and mental toll, let's consider how constant busyness can impact something incredibly important: your relationships and your sense of purpose beyond simply filling time. When you're rushing from one commitment to the next, it leaves less room for spontaneous, deep connection with the people you care about. You might see friends or family frequently, but are those interactions truly meaningful? Or are they often squeezed into tight slots between other things? Quality time often requires not being in a hurry, having the space for conversations to meander, for unexpected moments of intimacy or shared reflection to arise. If your schedule is so packed that every visit is timed, or you're constantly checking your watch because you have to be somewhere else, it can make those connections feel superficial. You might be physically present, but mentally you're already on to the next thing. This can leave both you and the other person feeling less satisfied with the interaction, even if you're technically seeing people often. True connection thrives on presence and unhurried time, and a jam-packed schedule is the enemy of that. It's about prioritizing who you spend time with and how you spend that time, rather than just maximizing the number of social engagements. Think about the difference between a quick coffee meeting before rushing off and an afternoon where you have no plans afterwards. Allowing the conversation and connection to unfold naturally. The latter is far more likely to nourish your soul. Another subtle consequence of being perpetually busy is that it can prevent you from exploring deeper sources of meaning and purpose in retirement. If your identity has been strongly tied to work or raising a family, retirement can bring about a need to redefine yourself and find new ways to contribute or feel fulfilled. Constantly filling your time with activities, while they might be enjoyable on the surface, can sometimes be a way to avoid asking yourself those bigger questions: what truly matters to me? Now, how do I want to spend the rest of my days? What kind of legacy do I want to build? Not in terms of achievements, but in terms of impact and connection. Busyness can become a distraction, a way to defer the potentially uncomfortable but ultimately rewarding process of deep reflection and self-discovery. It's easy to mistake being active for being purposeful. Purpose usually stems from within, from your values and passions, and it often requires quiet contemplation to uncover. If your days are always full, you might miss the opportunities to explore what truly lights you up, to pursue interests that are deeply meaningful to you, or to contribute in ways that align with your core values. Simply because you're too busy doing everything else. It's like being so busy looking at the map of all the possible places you could go that you never actually start walking down the path that feels most right for you. Allowing for unstructured time creates the space for these deeper questions to surface and for you to explore answers. It might involve trying a variety of things, but it also requires the quiet periods necessary to discern which activities are genuinely fulfilling and which are just time fillers. It's about shifting from a mindset of, what should I be doing, to, what do I truly want to be doing, and what brings real meaning to my life now. This shift requires letting go of the external pressure to be constantly occupied and giving yourself permission to explore, reflect, and prioritize what genuinely matters. And finally, let's talk about a less discussed aspect, the potential for this relentless busyness to be driven by underlying anxieties or fears about retirement itself. For some, the idea of not being busy, of having unstructured time, can feel confronting. It can bring up fears of feeling irrelevant, lonely, or unproductive after decades of having a clear role and routine. So, busyness becomes a coping mechanism, a way to outrun those uncomfortable feelings. The more packed the schedule, the less time there is to sit with those anxieties. But just like with physical or mental exhaustion, running away from these feelings doesn't make them go away. It often just postpones them or makes them manifest in other ways, like increased stress, irritability, or even physical symptoms. It's important to acknowledge that retirement is a significant life transition, and it's perfectly normal to experience a range of emotions, including uncertainty or a sense of loss. Trying to mask this by overscheduling only prevents you from processing these feelings and finding healthy ways to navigate them. Embracing some level of downtime allows you the space to identify these emotions, understand where they might be coming from, and develop healthier coping strategies. Whether that's talking to a trusted friend or family member, journaling, seeking professional support, or finding new, less hectic ways to find fulfillment. So, we've talked about how constantly being busy can wear down your physical health, overload your mental capacity leading to burnout, make it harder to build genuinely deep connections, prevent you from discovering deeper purpose, and potentially serve as a way to avoid confronting the natural anxieties of retirement. It's not about saying retirement shouldn't be active or engaging. It's about questioning the need to fill every single moment and recognizing the value, the necessity even, of downtime, reflection, and unstructured time. Think of it less as doing nothing and more as creating space. Space to rest, space to think, space to connect deeply, space to simply be. This space allows you to listen to yourself, to understand your needs, and to make conscious choices about how you spend your precious retirement years, rather than just reacting to external expectations or internal pressure to stay busy. Your retirement should be a time of freedom, and true freedom includes the freedom, not, to be constantly scheduled, the freedom to change your mind, the freedom to rest when you need to. It's a shift in mindset from valuing productivity and constant activity to valuing well-being, presence, and genuine connection. Remember, your retirement is yours to shape. There's no universal rule book saying you have to be busier than ever. In fact, for many, the path to a truly fulfilling and healthy retirement involves letting go of the need to be constantly in motion and embracing the richness that comes from balance, presence, and choosing quality over quantity in how you spend your time and energy. Small changes can make a big difference. Start by blocking out just a few hours a week as unscheduled time and see how it feels. Allow yourself to say no to commitments that don't truly resonate with you, without guilt. Prioritize rest and quiet reflection as much as you prioritize social events or activities. Your well-being in this chapter of your life depends on finding this balance. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel the pressure to be constantly busy? Have you found ways to build in more downtime? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Your perspective could really help someone else who is navigating this. if this video resonated with you. Please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more discussions about living your best life at every age. Embracing a more balanced pace isn't slowing down. It's smart living. Live your best life at every age